The first law of dominion. Please sit down. The first law of dominion is the law of the blessing. No man can walk in dominion unless a spirit breathes upon him. This is why even in darkness, somebody is vying for power. He goes to look for a spirit. Because among men, dominion is not a possibility without spiritual fraternity. If you see anybody doing anything mighty on the earth, a spirit has breathed upon him. That was how the realm was instituted. I read for you in Genesis 1:26. It said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. And in the image of him, he made man. So the man was made with the DNA of God. But so long as he's man, he can't have dominion without a blessing. The guy looked like God. He was created in the image of God, but he could not have dominion. So you can resemble God, you can be like God. If the blessing is not on your life, you will toil all night. You will not be blessed. He made man in his image, yet the man could not have dominion. No, when you are reading Genesis, you will make the mistake of assuming that everything is just happening concertedly. I don't have time to go into that yet. But things are not just happening as you think. When he said in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was void and darkness was upon the face of the deep, you think it's just consecutive occurrences. It's not so. The man was created in the image and in the likeness of God. But the man didn't have dominion. Because dominion is not predicated upon being like God alone. Until the blessing comes upon you. He said, and the Lord blessed them. Who was the Lord blessing? The Lord was blessing a mirror image of himself. Because the man God created, the raw material with which he was created was God himself. The Bible said God breathed upon him and he became a living soul. So it's like God took himself and hid it in dust and he called it man. So the man God was talking to was a reflection of God. It's just like cloning. You clone yourself. One is so powerful. The other looks alike, yet so vulnerable. So the man, even though he looked like God, was very vulnerable. This is why many believers are vulnerable. Because they are not walking in the blessing. Do they have eternal life? Yes. Do they have the image of God? Yes. But it takes more than image and it in dominion. So God knew and he said, and God blessed them. It is in the premise of the blessing that he said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. So the blessing is what activates the power to rule. The power to rule is on your inside because you are born of God. But what activates that power is the blessing that comes upon you. So after God created the man and God himself attested that the man was in his image and in his likeness, he came quickly and said, be blessed. If you are not walking with the blessing, you will know everything but you won't prosper. Have you seen people before? They said this is the problem. They say wait. They analyze the whole problem very intelligently, yet they don't prosper. A friend of mine told me something. He was so intelligent that what the government wanted to do in his state, he was the one that designed the whole blueprint. In fact, they brought Chinese expatriates. They examined it. They said they've never seen this level of intelligence. Appreciated it, took the blueprint. When time came for execution, they called him aside and said, we will get back to you. He brought the initiative. He created the blueprint. But when time came for execution, what did they tell him? We will get back to you. They went and looked for somebody else. He came and studied his blueprint and took over. If there is no blessing in your life, you will know. You will be excellent. You will be the man for the job. but you cannot be fruitful. You cannot be productive, because the power to make fruitful is not in the fact that you are a man. It's not in the fact that you are intelligent. It's not in the fact that you are even in the right place and in the right time. A friend of mine vied and applied for Navy. They finished the whole thing. He passed the whole exam. He was the best. Until when they came for their ceremonial, they had to appear before the rednecks. And when they came into the room, everybody came. They just decorated them, gave them their cap, and saluted. When the guy showed up, all of a sudden from nowhere, one of the generals said, "Who is standing for you?" How come they didn't ask others the question? Is it written on his own face? Passed the test, best in field training, best in academic work. But when he entered the office, one of the generals, "Who is standing for, by the way, who is standing for you?" He said, "Doesn't have anybody." "What? How did you come here?" "Give him 20,000, go home." You think by reading the book and passing the exam, you will just become great. That's why many foolish people, they go to sleep with lecturers to pass exam. Success is not in school. School is a preparatory ground. Success is outside of school. So they work against the blessing while they are in school. When they come to town, they have graduated with the results, but they are now working for 10 years. They have no job. Because it takes the blessing for your certificate to be picked. How did you get here? When they said, "Give him 20,000, the guy said no, that he passed, he was the best. When they said best, they called somebody, they flogged him out of the place. This is not fairy tale, this is real. Everybody entered. They didn't ask them, who are you standing for? The moment they came, who brought you here? Why did the question came during his time? Because the blessings was not there. Meanwhile, here you find a blessed man going for an interview. He didn't even prepare. And then suddenly, while he was going for the interview, what the taxi driver was telling him, he now entered the interview hall. And the question they asked him was what the taxi driver was saying. Did the taxi driver go to school? No. But the word was put in his mouth. And then he answers the question. And when he steps out, every other person comes and fails. It is the blessing. The blessing will manipulate everything your life needs into your life at the right time. This is why the patriarchs, no matter how wealthy they are, they don't leave this world until they constow blessings on their children. He said when Abraham was old, he laid hands on Isaac. When Isaac was old, he laid hands on Jacob. Be fruitful. You are blessed with the dew of heaven. Your enemies shall serve you. He wasn't writing a document. He was releasing spiritual energy. Because the blessing is what makes the difference. They can give you 1,000 cattle. It will finish with time. They can give you 1 billion naira. It will finish with time. There are such a things called palmer worm, caterpillar worm, canker worm that can eat up your resources. But when the blessings come, even if you dig a well and they collect it, leave. Go and dig another one. Even if you dig on a stone, water will come out. I've shared it before. Jacob dug a well. They collected the well from Jacob. He didn't fight. He left them and came to another place. He dug another well. The one they collected dried up. They pursued him to the new well. They collected it. They left them. He went and dug another one. The one they collected dried up. And they now say, no, we have come to understand that you are bigger than us. The same thing happened with Abraham. Same thing happened with Isaac. Same thing happened with Jacob. All of them were doing different things. But they carried one thing, the blessing. The blessing. While Isaac was an agriculturist, Jacob was a shepherd. What was the difference? It wasn't the type of job. It was the blessing. One can be a businessman. The other one can be a lecturer. The other one can be a politician. The ingredient all of you need to prosper is the blessing. It's not the type of business. A lot of people come into a city and they are finding out what is working. What is working is not the type of business. It's the spirit backing what is happening. You can see an architecture or you say it's real estate that is working. When you go into real estate, you will build 90 estates. And the moment you build it, government will say, we want to use that place for irrigation. Have you not traveled? Go to cities. You will see an estate, full estate, over 30 pieces built, and then they don't complete it. The next thing you see a red sign. Why? Government hijacks it. And then they keep it like that for 15 years. Even when they leave it later, nobody wants to live there again. Because there is a dark cloud that is now resting on that place. So you sing 3 billion, and 3 billion vanishes. The blessing makes the difference. It makes you fruitful. It replenishes you. So while you are laboring, you are not sweating. You did a project yesterday. People thought this was the best. But there is something in the blessing called replenish. So you come and start another one as if you've never done anyone before. And the people are wondering, how come? You just finished this project. You say yes. And you are doing this one. You say no. We are already contemplating the next one. What is making it happen is the blessing. Is the blessing. They looked at you, they said, no, this one, he won't finish it. You are laughing. Before they know what is happening, you have started another project. And they say, how come? How are you doing it? It's the blessing. Because the blessing replenishes you. You are doing it, but your effort is not depleted. It's like Bluetooth. I can send one song to you. I'll send the same song to another person. I can send it to 1,000 persons. My own won't deplete. It's called the replenishing power of the blessing. This is why one man can take a nation. Because inherent in him is not only fruitfulness. If you are only fruitful, a point will come when you come to your zenith. But in addition to fruitfulness, you replenish. So in fruitfulness, you are replenishing. In fruitfulness, you are able to produce. But you will produce until you come to a point where naturally you will stop producing. But not when you are replenishing. When you are replenishing, you'll be producing. And every time you produce, you'll come back again. Do you know how men grow old? Men grow old actually because of fruitfulness. Because in the cells, there's what we call mitosis. The cells divide into two. So when the cell divide, the newer cell can never be as good as the old cell that divided. So when cell A produce B and C will be weaker than A. When B produces E and F will be weaker than B. And remember, B was weaker than A. So the more your cells are dividing, the older you become. So the old cells cannot be as good as the new cell. So you are being fruitful, yet you are growing old. But when you replenish, when A produce A and B and C will be identical with A. And sometimes even more powerful than A. Because B and C will become a hybrid of A. So replenishing is superior to fruitfulness. And it doesn't stop there. It said, subdue. So the new cells being produced understand a better strategy of winning than the old cells. So I built one house today. I don't just have the ability to build another house. The next house I built is better than the one I built before. And then I have a strategy of even building better than what I did the last time. It's called to be fruitful, to subdue, to replenish, to multiply, and to have dominion. This is why blessed men don't complain. Because they don't know how they are doing what they are doing. You are wondering, how is this possible? They don't know how they are doing what they are doing. All they know is that they just make impact. Have you gone to see a man who is blessed? Every day people come to his house, he's giving to them. And then you are wondering, oh boy, this money no go finish. You came 2 years ago, he was giving. 2 years later you came, he was still giving. And the more he gives, the more he becomes bigger. Meanwhile, the poor man who is not blessed, the little he has, he hides it. He wants to eat small. And in eating small, he's reducing every day. But the blessed man who is giving, he said, the liberal soul shall be made fat. Him that watereth shall by himself be watered unto. The more he gives, the more he grows bigger. It's the blessing. There's a mechanism of the blessing. Now, the people of the world don't know this, so they despise it. And most times, gullible believers who don't know about the blessing, they also follow the world to despise it. You are in a different kingdom. Your advantage is the law of the kingdom that you follow. I just came in from Ghana. If I do what they do in Ghana, I will die here. Because what they do in Ghana prospers them who are in Ghana. So you can't be in the kingdom and then Obi Kubana is giving you idea on how to succeed. Say, look at them. They are doing this thing. They don't have sense. We are not in the same kingdom. My children will not go and sit with me in club. My children will not see naked women dancing, and I call it prosperity. My life will not be characterized by vanity. So you don't learn from the world. You teach the world how to live. But you have your own laws that govern you. It's called the law of the blessing.